Hi everyone, Mike Smith here. A friend of mine asked me about creating rollover image effects in HTML, and she'd been looking at this tutorial on the Elegant Themes website talking about the Divi theme. And in fact there is a problem with this tutorial. Firstly, there's a slight coding error here with the leading space, but also it doesn't go on to explain how you can make a rollover image a link, which is actually what you'd like to do. So I thought I'd just go through this from start to finish and just explain the process in more detail. And what we're going to do is create a rollover effect like this here. And as you can see at the bottom of the page, if you look down here, you can see that this is going to open a new page. In fact, it opens it in a new window there. So that's a clickable link, and that's just the image equivalent of this link here. As you can see, my cursor changes as well. So the tutorial that's given on the Elegant Themes website does this. Basically, as you hover over an image, it changes from one image to another, which is usually just a kind of a grayed out version of the original image, perhaps with another bit of text in the middle saying click here. So this is where the tutorial ends, and this is where we are going to take it today. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, now first of all, this particular method uses JavaScript, or to be more specific, jQuery, which is a library based on JavaScript, and there is another way of doing this using CSS. Now, JavaScript is slightly more powerful, CSS is arguably more elegant, but in this particular case, the original tutorial used JavaScript or jQuery, and so that's what I'll use for my tutorial as well. So I've created this example page here on one of my websites, and as you can see, there's what appears to be an error here, and I just wanted to demonstrate the effect of this leading space in the code. So if that leading space is there, you don't get an image, you get the text. So let's fix that first. That's the leading space I was referring to there. So if I just remove that leading space, update my page, that should then insert the original image there. So let's just refresh this page here. Okay, good. So this is my original image now with correct code, and this is the intended rollover image here. So, and all I've done is I've copied that original image and just used an image editor to grey it out a little bit. There's lots of options there for you, but it's a completely different image, as you can see. Okay, so the next thing we'll do is have a look at the code to create these, the code here. Okay, now the best place to find code for HTML is w3schools.com. It's the reference, and there are obviously other places where people put tutorials, but this is effectively the encyclopedia of HTML and JavaScript. So that's where I always go. So to create a link, this is the code for a link, and it opens with an A tag and closes with an A tag, and you've got the link there. And this text here is the clickable portion. So on my test page here, that would produce this clickable link here. And all we do is we substitute that text there for an image. So instead of that text, we have an image. And so on another part of the W3 Schools website is how to create an image, and that's this text here, which is similar to what is demonstrated in the Elegant Themes tutorial. You see, that's the image tag here with a couple of changes, which I'll explain in a moment. So we use the A tag, and the image tag is inserted where the text would be. And there's some attributes for the image tag as well, so I'll talk about those in a moment. Okay, so combined then, it looks like my image tag is here and my and the generic A tag, the link tag, is there, and in combination it looks like this. So let me just show you that in a text editor so you can see it more clearly. Okay, now so here is the code and some explanatory text, and I'll add this to the end of the video on YouTube, so you can find this and you can just copy it if you like. Okay, so the first thing, this is the link to that Elegant Themes tutorial, and it does contain a small error and doesn't demonstrate how to actually make the link. So firstly you need two images, and I've got two images on my website. This is the original image here, and I need to create a rollover image. So I've done that and I've uploaded that to my website as well, and I'll just demonstrate how to do that in a moment. Here is the normal image tag from W3 Schools, and you can specify the height and the width as you wish, but if you're going to use it on a WordPress website, WordPress gives you control over height and width anyway when you insert it in a post. The alt tag is useful because that is what comes up when you hover over something, and it's useful for it's pretty important for search engine optimization as well. So you should specify the alt tag if you're going to do this properly on a website. I've already mentioned the leading space here on the original tutorial. It had a space there, so you've got to get rid of that. Okay, and the ending tag, just for your information, as far as I know, it can be with a / there or not. It doesn't seem to matter. It works either way. Okay, so and also I make the point here that the above code is jQuery. That's indicated by the use of the word this and then a dot and then a src. So that's jQuery code there. For most people that won't matter, but it's probably worth knowing that jQuery is a library that is added to websites, and most WordPress websites would have that, but not necessarily all WordPress websites. And if you're doing a standard HTML page, then you'd have to do it differently, and there's the link to tell you how to do that. Okay, so we've got our image link, and here's a normal link, and then as I mentioned before, you just take the image link and copy that over the text there. So it kind of looks like this, right? And then you modify the image tag to add the rollover code, so the whole thing looks like that. So you've got the opening A tag, got the target page over here. I've specified target as blank, but you don't, and that may be what you want or not. Just delete that if you don't want that. And then so that opening A tag closes here, and then the image tag starts with all of the rollover stuff, and that finishes here, and here, and then the closing A tag is there, and that's all the code that you need. Okay, so I'm just going to go back now just to show you how to create this rollover image as well. So the last thing that I'll go through is just showing you how to create a nice rollover version of your image, and I've already got that here in my media library. Best to start with the original image, so I'll just bring that up and I'm just going to save that to my desktop. I've already done this a couple of times whilst testing this tutorial, but I'll just go through the whole process again. So I'm saving that, letting it download, and then I'm going to just open that in Preview. On the Mac you've got Preview. On Windows there would also be a free image editor there, because we don't really need to do much. All we want to do is just change it slightly to make it visually evident that you've rolled over the image. And what I'm going to do is use contrast to do that. So I'm just going to adjust color here, and you can see the controls there. So I'm just going to play with contrast, bring that down a little bit. So that's a bit grayed out. That's the original over here, and that's the intended rollover image. And so then I save that and then upload it again to the media library, which I've already done. And as you can see, that's it there. Okay, and in WordPress, the URL is just copied from there. So that's where I got the URLs for my two images, my original here and my rollover image. And those images have to be publicly available. If you upload to your media library in WordPress, they will be publicly available, but you can have them anywhere really on your website. And although it's not polite to do so, you could link to existing images elsewhere on the web as well. Don't leech though. That's not polite. Okay, so at the end of all of this tutorial, you should have the ability now to start with an original image, create a rollover image, and then make that rollover work using JavaScript jQuery, and then create that into a link using the A tag. And there you have it. Thanks very much.